You're the end of that case. If you can heal it right now. Oh, I've been in pain where I'm saying, listen, if that chiropractor was open right now, I would be at the chiropractor. If the surgeon would do surgery on my body right now, I'd be. Matter of fact, if they can't, why don't they just go on and put something to me and put me out of my misery because I'm in pain. Now, you've never been there probably, but there's sometimes I've been there where I'm in that much pain. I'm saying, if I could get it done now, I'd be getting it done now. I remember that Christmas when we wrecked. And my wife was in pain. You know what I said? Give her the medication that's going to put her out of pain as quick as you can. She don't like shots. She said they hurt. I'm thinking she's not in that much pain. Take the shot, get out of the pain, get her in surgery, take care of her. It's an emergency, take care of her. I don't care whether it's Christmas, I don't care whether it's Sunday, I don't care anything about any of that. What I care about is she needs to get out of pain. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. That's what Proverbs 21:3 says. Hosea says, for I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. Sometimes we look at the burnt offerings, sometimes we look at the sacrifice we make, instead of looking at what He wants is you. What He wants is you. He said, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath, even of the Sabbath. I want you on the Sabbath. I want to be the king of your life on the Sabbath. I don't want the rules to be the king of your life on the Sabbath. I want to be. Now let me say this before anybody gets the wrong idea. Christ is not condemning the laws of the Sabbath. He did not come to destroy the law, but came to fulfill the law. Fulfill it in the revelation of the depth of the law to the heart of man. Instead of just the attitudes of man, instead of the actions of man. Your actions ought to come from your attitudes. You ought to have an attitude of caring about people. The reason you get that you should not do this or should not do that is not because that's what the law says, but because you have such a caring that you're saying, I do not want to hurt my testimony before God. Not so that you don't die. Sometimes we're so, that's why we say, you can't do this because the day thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. And God said, listen, all I wanted was you to obey. Not because you're going to die, but because you love me. Christ is not condemning the law of Sabbath. Matter of fact, Matthew chapter 5, just a few pages back, and we can find in verses 17 through 20. That's where He tells us that. He says, think not I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say to you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass from the law until all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments and shall teach men, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say to you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. What are you talking about? I'm talking about, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, is what He tells us in Matthew 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you have paid tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. He said, your problem is you don't know anything about mercy. You don't know anything about. He said, I have mercy rather than sacrifice. I want you to be merciful. See, you're willing to do all these letters of the law, but you don't even have mercy. You don't even have right judgment in your heart. You don't even have faith in your heart. You ought to have done these, you ought to have done, and not leave the others undone. We should teach the way and keep the day. I did not say teach the way and forsake the day. Oh, don't forsake the assembling yourselves together as the manner of some is. The some say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I love Jesus. I can worship Jesus just as good on the lake as I can in the church house. I say, liar, liar, pants on fire, telephone nose as long as a wire. You won't worship Him on the lake. You're going to worship your bass boat or your ski boat or your fishing that you're out there. You don't even got your mind on Christ out there on the lake most of the time. I'm not saying a person can't get out on the lake in the middle on his boat and worship God. I'm saying most of the time they don't. Try worshiping Him down at the 500 track. Try worshiping Him at the Revolt Colts game. Try worshiping Him there. You're not doing that. You're worshiping your idol. Not NASCAR. I'm not putting down NASCAR. I'm talking about Indy 500 racing. We're in Indy. Amen. I'm against NASCAR on Sundays too. I'm just trying to tell you, that's when you go down there, that's what you got your mind on. You don't got your mind on Christ. What I'm trying to get us to comprehend is we ought to have a desire toward Him. The king of the way is the king of the day. You'll see verse number 8 declares the person of the king. We can find He is greater than the temple. You'll find that in verse 6. That this place is one greater than the temple. Who is it? Verse 8 said, the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. He says, I'm greater than this temple that you've set there and you've set up and that you're worshiping this temple. What would you do if Notre Dame burnt down? They say, oh no! It's just a big old chunk of bricks. Now I know it represented their religion. I understand it. I'm not trying to belittle folks who are crying because it broke and fell down and fell apart and they're having to rebuild and restructure things. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm trying to say, what about the temple? It isn't that big of a deal when you have the one who's greater than the temple living inside of you.
Amen.
Our focus, he says, I'm greater than the temple. The Son of Man is greater. He's the Lord of the Sabbath day. He's the greatest of all mankind. He's called the Son of Man. He uses that term. That's the 5th time he uses that in the book of Matthew. He's the Son of Man that has power to forgive sin. Oh, thank God the Son of Man came to seek and save that which is lost, we find. Oh, we find the Son of Man. Now that was the 5th time he used it. Oh, thank God. He's the sovereign Son. He's the Son of Man. He was made man and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory, glory as the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. He was made in the likeness of flesh. He said, I'm the Lord. I'm the sovereign, even of the Sabbath day. I like that. I like that. He said, not just of the Sabbath day, but even on the day you've got your rules and regulations, I can overrule. Because I'm the Lord. I'm the Lord. Do you realize I heard a friend of mine say this, and I don't necessarily agree with him in the way he was saying this. He says, I can't break the law. I am the law. He was a police officer. But do you realize that the speed limit does not apply to him when he's in the duty of his job? You say, why? Because he overrules the rules. The duty overruled the rules. Jesus says, I made the rules. I created this day. I'm the Lord of it. I created this day. I control this day. Who do you think you are trying to think that you rule this day? It's not your day. It's His day. I know what I'm doing. He said, I'm the Lord of it. I'm the King of it. If we get that focus in mind to come to Him, that we're coming to church to come spend time with Him, that we're doing what we do to honor Him, what we do, can I tell you, these people would not be out there doing all this goofing off on the Lord's Day. They'd be in the house of God on the Lord's Day. They wouldn't be lying about the Lord's Day. They might end up missing church. They might end up doing things that they have to get done. I'm not arguing about that sometimes. The doctor might be in the hospital working, but can I tell you, if he could, he wouldn't be there. Why? Because he want to be in the house of God. Where do you want to be on the Lord's Day? Where would they want to be on the Sabbath? Do you think they wanted to pick corn on the Sabbath? They'd have much rather somebody had fixed them a meal at the house of God. The Pharisees had said, we're fixing a big old dinner on Friday so that everybody can come on Saturday, and we're going to feed you on the Sabbath. Just come and eat. You don't have to pick it. You don't have to cook it. You don't have to do anything with it. We've got it made. That's why I'm a crock pot man. You'll catch that later. Let me say this. He's the sovereign of the Sabbath. He created it. He rules it. And He's the servant of the Sabbath. And we'll find that in verse number 18. Behold my servant, whom I have chosen. He said, my beloved, whom my soul is well pleased. He said, you know what? He said, He came not just to rule over the Sabbath, but He came to work as our Sabbath. He's the elect of the Lord. He said, I've chosen for this. He said, I've chosen Him to be the servant. He's the elect servant. He's the enjoyable servant. His God, the Father's soul is well pleased in Him. He's the enlightened or empowered servant. He said, I put my Spirit upon Him. He's the encouraging servant. He has a message of encouragement. You know what their message was? Discouraging. We read Jude in Sunday school. That's pretty discouraging. If it wasn't for the beginning and the end of that book, there would have been no encouragement in that message. But you can find the beginning and end of Jude. Because God is an encouraging God. God does not just say, thou shalt not. He says, oh, if you do, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous. If you mess up, don't worry. We have an advocate with the Father. We have a repentant heart. The Son of Man came to call sinners to repentance. Oh. The question is, let me say this, his message is encouraging. His method is encouraging. He's not brash, he's not boastful. He won't bruise or break a reed. And he will not belittle that one who has a fire going. He said, I'm not going to do it. Oh, but I'll bless those who believe. That's who He is. That's His character. That's His conduct. That's His church. That's His calling. I just want you to understand something. Oh, let's don't be so focused on the rules. I'm for keeping the rules. But let's make sure our focus is on the one who reigns.
Amen.
He reigns Because He's the way of grace. He's the way of peace. He's the way of righteousness. And the work of righteousness shall be peace. The effect of righteousness, quietness, and assurance forever. He's the way. And therefore He rules the day. Let Him rule your day. Don't make the rules rule your day. Let Him rule your day. And as a rule, you won't break the rules. Think about that. Father, I pray you help